podcast started. No! The standard is the standard. We set the standard.
That's right. That's right. It is back to Thursday night primetime beef huddle. I'm your host, DJ K DuB Omaha. Coach, welcome back to the show.
What's up, man?
2 weeks off.
Yeah.
From this show.
Are we really 2 weeks off?
Well, I mean, it feels like, it's been 2 weeks since our last show.
All right.
But on the last show, before we get into our special guest here,
okay,
one big announcement happened. Do you remember what that was?
My bookie.
We had that. That's a good one. We had rookies on. Do you remember what happened with the rookies talking?
I don't like rookies.
No, you have rookies.
I know.
What did they say? What was one said something on that show? Do you remember?
I really don't.
Otis said something.
Oh, the kick return.
And what did he say on that?
Well, he said he was going to take one to the house. He was going to house the first one, is what he said.
So when he housed the third or fourth, what was your idea? What was your thought?
I already knew that was going to happen.
You knew it before it was happening.
I knew it was going to happen.
It's weird how it was like he Babe Ruthed you.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he predicted the first one, and he was one tackle away from breaking the first one if you replay that actual play. But there's a reason why I brought him here. I mean, that's what he does. So I'm not in the least bit. So he's going to do it again this weekend.
Be ready. Be ready. Once again, remember, Saturday, 6:30 at the Slaughterhouse, we welcome Pueblo Punishers.
We do.
Their first go around here at the Slaughterhouse.
Yep.
They've got an idea of what they're coming to, right?
I don't think they do. They've been very vocal, and, I'm never going to knock another team's confidence. I'm just going to leave it alone. You know what? I can feel my blood boiling just talking about it. So we're just going to leave it alone. We'll welcome them to Omaha. They get a nice meal tomorrow when they get in. And then they get introduced to Thump City on Saturday. So.
Well, welcome to Thump City. That's Omaha, Omaha.
Yes.
Well, why don't you introduce our guests
let's
here?
Let's get to happy times.
Who we got hanging out with us here?
Caitlin from Humble Lion. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
The Humble Lion's been a partner in the past, and we connected with the season ticket party.
Yep.
Talked about coming back. So tell the world about Humble Lion.
Yeah, of course. Well, like you said, I'm Caitlin Satie. I'm the founder of Humble Lion Consulting here in Omaha. Been about 3 years now, going on 3 years. We focus on branding, social media marketing, website development, scaling, business development, event management. And we work with a lot of amazing local brands like Big Mama's Kitchen and Catering, Ollie the Trolley, the Omaha Home and Garden Expo, the 60th anniversary. We helped out with that one this time.
Nice.
And we're excited for Taste of Omaha because I love Taste of Omaha.
I'm excited for Taste of Omaha.
Oh.
If anybody didn't know.
So, that is something that I've obviously partaked. One of my best friends that's a fellow DJ as myself. He's a fellow chef. You might have heard of him. Maybe, maybe not. DJ West, Chef West.
Okay.
Chef West. He is out there. Tay Westbury.
Sounds
not
familiar,
just Omaha Eats is his thing. No way.
Now I know him.
I've been on his show twice.
Like
We
you
did
should.
3, but the third one we couldn't put out there only because they are no longer there because of the railway or whatever you call it, the thing that has really hurt a lot of food businesses. And of
lot of
course,
businesses in general.
we did a Muchachos when they were down off of 13th, and we had fun. We did everything, and then before we could post it, they were just saying because of that rail car, they're not going to stay in Omaha. Now they're still in Lincoln. Obviously, they're working with Nebraska and all that. They're having fun out there, but it just these local businesses and especially food places need people like yourself, people like Coach, like myself, that go out and promote the great stuff that we have available here in Omaha. When you look at that big of an event, Taste of Omaha, how did you get involved and kind of what was your reason to get involved?
It's funny. Actually, Ollie the Trolley and Big Mama's knows Mid-America Expositions. And so they both referred me to him. And I started going to this networking meeting there, and he was there as well. And he's like, all right, I have given, I mean, it's our 60th anniversary. I've given so many marketing companies so many chances, and I'm not really happy with any of them. He's like, I'll try 1 month. And obviously, he's pretty satisfied. We're continuing forward, and our methods are different. You kind of said they're going out and promoting what makes us different. When people think of marketing, they think like behind a screen. I mean, yes, social media is important and stuff. So is Google Ads. So is all of it. It's not just all your eggs in one basket. But what makes us different is the community aspect, the event building, like boots on the ground. And so you got to see that firsthand. And so he asked me to go on this really tall ladder during the 60th anniversary. He's like, take a picture of like everything. I'm like, okay, no, of course, I got this. No problem. I go up there and I look down. I was like, oh, wait, I'm scared of heights. I completely forgot. I'm scared of heights. So my intern's down there like taking videos of me. And then she has a video of me going, wait a second.
It's because you get the adrenaline from an event like that. You get the adrenaline and you're like, I'm just going to go for it.
Mhm.
You're up there, you're seeing it. Did you get his picture?
I did get his picture, and it was a well-attended event. That's also why he's super excited to continue moving forward. It's our first time, and so we did a little promotion beforehand, of course, used some of his, past marketing as well a little bit to kind of get the momentum going, but you can see it really climb the weekend of. I mean, people were just coming in because they're excited to see the vendors on live. They're excited to see their own stories. Some of them know those business owners because it's not just national companies, it's local companies too.
Okay.
So
why Omaha Beef for you guys? What made that connection? How did that all go for you?
I love that question. So I moved here from like Des Moines a few years ago, and I got into golfing. Surprise, surprise, Nebraska. And I did a few tournaments, and my favorite tournament was actually sponsored by Omaha Beef, and the players were there.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, like, how cool that Omaha Beef is not only sponsoring it there, but like the players are just there building, like, again, building the community, being there, out there on the hole with them and saying hi to everyone. And just like, again, it's not like it's us against them,
Right.
it's we're Omaha together. And so I really love that that energy, that community. And I started dating my boyfriend, and he loves football, so I started getting into football as well. And I was like, you know what? Omaha Beef happened I moved here because of how fun it was. And I was like, all right, Omaha Beef was also one of the reasons why I felt like that golf tournament changed like my whole perspective on golfing.
I'm
So
hearing that. That's good stuff.
And that's one
It
of the
was so fun.
favorite events for a lot of the front office,
Yeah.
the
Oh, good.
players. They get to be involved in that. Of course, Coach, you talked about meeting her at the ticket event. What was that like? Of course, this was your first ticket event
Yeah.
as a coach.
So first off, she mentioned a couple of companies, so I'm going to give a shout out to Deb at Ollie Trolley.
Love you.
We're gonna work together at some point. We're gonna figure
make
out
it
some
happen.
sort of beef trolley thing. And then I got to meet with Gladys at Big Mom Catering. And, we haven't figured that out yet, but we're gonna figure that out.
So let me know when
I hear
we
the
have
food
lunch.
is phenomenal.
Yes, she
Yeah.
actually just had a murder mystery,
Yes.
and she had a 4-course meal. Like I'm telling you, it's like 5-star. I was like, wow, like this is beyond like home cooking,
Yeah.
like soul food. Like I'm always impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I told her, I'm like, okay, I don't want any fried food. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna get. I'm trying to, get in shape. Summer's coming around, and she's like, I got it. Get this seasoning, get some chicken, put it in the air fryer. You're good to go. And I mean, she's got everything.
Yeah. So
there.
Gladys, I'm coming for you. Yeah.
Well, we'll have lunch
On
together.
notice.
On
On notice.
But no, the season ticket holder party was great. I mean, Amazing Pizza Machines hosted it. I'm not sure what year this is. I know at least 2, maybe more. It's always fun because it's just what Caitlin said about an event where the players get to interact with the fans. We get excited about the upcoming season, take pictures. This year we wanted to put an emphasis on players being a little bit more active and just playing games with the fans and the kids. And we didn't want families to just come through and get their tickets. We wanted them to kind of hang out and spend time with us. And that is an important component, as you know, Kendall, of just playing for me. Like it's the football is the easy part. It's continuing to build and culminate and cement long-term relationships in a community that we've been a part of for 27 years. Nothing gets me more upset than when I'm out in the community and I tell someone I'm the head coach of the Omaha Beef and they ask me, what's that? I don't understand. So
you need to come check it out.
Right. We need to come check it out. And I think this group of players is very, very adamant about, making a positive impact and impression in the community. And that's why you partner with someone like Caitlin and Humble Lion to just expand on that. She's an expert in her field. And I think maybe that's been, some of the struggle with the growth. And I'll even ask that, just from a business perspective, look, anybody can go on social media and sign up and get a free profile and stuff like that. But what are some of the intricacies that you see as a person who's an expert in the field? How do you help businesses take their following from X to Y to Z? What's kind of the methodology and process in a short term? Because I'm sure that's a long question to answer.
Yeah. I will, I think for a lot of people, they overcomplicate marketing. They'll think about paid advertising, which is a good like supplemental tool to use. But if that's like one of your main marketing, you're doing it wrong. You're paying for bots. You're paying for people that are really not even your target audience. You might be getting some fish, but you're not fishing the right area. And so the way that we're different is we focus on organic social media marketing. And the way our reels continue to grow organically and get to that viral point, like Big Mama's Ollie the Trolley, and quite a few other of our clients. A lot of our clients are now Best of Omaha, which this year I'm trying to get. We were 50% last year. This year I'm trying to get 90%. But what makes it different is I make them feel uncomfortable. I told them, listen, people come to you, and especially here in Omaha, because they like and trust you. You have to show up and be vulnerable online. Be your genuine, authentic self. Show them behind the scenes. Show them what it's like, that community, because each business is kind of like a family. So showing a different side of the business, not just, oh, this is what we have. This is what we sell. This is our services. You need it, so come buy it. And that is the truth. People need it, but it's more than that.
What prompted you? So first of all, how long has Humble Lion been?
Yeah, so coming up on 3 years in October, but we 10x last year. And so we're now in Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, a couple of people in Denver as well, a couple companies, and then Texas as well.
So business ownership is not for the faint of heart. And, obviously the business you're in would probably lend towards even entrepreneurship. What was the inspiration? What made you decide I'm not going to, commit to corporate America? I'm going to kind of do this on my own.
Yeah, I got my global political science degree in college. I mean, you look at my 5th grade yearbook. I want to be like the first one president. So hey, I still can happen.
Mhm.
Still can happen.
It could.
So that was my career for since I was young. I volunteered and I spent like my career in politics for the first 10 years. And I graduated and I worked that first election afterwards. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like this anymore. Doesn't matter what side you're on. It gets a little dirty no matter what. And my dad called and he's like, my business is failing right now because of COVID. We've been open for over 20 years, staffing, been open for 20 years. 2 weeks, I might have to shut down because I can't pay for lights and payroll. I was like, okay, Dad, you know what? I'm interviewing for DC right now. It's a 6-month process for like these think tanks and all that stuff. And so I was like, I'll help you out. I came on board for a little bit, before I went to college. And within 2 weeks, obviously the lights stayed on. And he's like, all right, whatever you did in Des Moines, make it happen in Omaha. Now make it happen in Kansas City. Now make it happen in all the other branches. And so I became the director of business development and then franchising. And then he sold the company. Hey, he's living it now. He has his Aston Martin. He's happy.
Hey, that's what it's about is learned a lot of qualities from your dad.
Yes.
And then able to turn that into your give back to parents. I think when a kid that
You're
is
welcome,
no longer
Dad.
a kid.
Yeah, I hope my daughters are listening.
When a kid is no longer a kid and able to help their parent live something that maybe in their eyes they never thought that they could get to.
Yeah.
It's got to be that little icing on the cake for you.
It was, and it was bittersweet, actually. I was honestly at first I was like, all right, well, I could still run for office. Maybe I'll just take over this business as a legacy. Even though I was good at it, I wasn't happy. I was the corporate zombie. And when he sold it, the new owner is like, I want to keep you on. I mean, you're a vital part of it. And I held 90% of the national sales. So they're like, you need to stay on. And I stayed on for a year, and he increased the salary and everything. So I was like, all right, this is good. Whatever, I'm living life. And I just remember waking up and I'm like, I'm so unhappy. And one of my friends, he's a young entrepreneur. He got a bigger shop, and it was October of 2023. And we're just sitting having a beer in his new shop. He has to get it gutted and lights and painted and everything. And then he has one part-time employee. He's like, oh my gosh, I am an automotive detailing company. I'm going in slow season. I just expanded my location, my operations, and I don't even know if I can pay this guy part-time, maybe once a month. And so we sat down, we talked about his staffing needs. And by the way, this guy to this day is his shop manager. So he stayed around. So we talked about his staffing needs, incentives. And then I was like, listen, I mean, you can do interior detailing for $300, $200 for 8 hours or 5 hours of work. Cause I mean, people have dirty cars here. We live in our cars here. Yeah. And I was like, or you say you like working classic, exotic cars, show cars. Why don't you flip the switch? And since you're doing 10% of that, switch that to 90% and do 10% of interior detailing. And of course, he didn't need more quality over quantity then for that business to run. And so he was able to grow. And with 6 months, he had about 6 full-time people there. Now I believe he found the happy medium. I think he's at like 4 or 5. But yeah, he looked at me, asked me to come back a week later. And he's like, Caitlin, I'll keep taking your advice. And I was like, yeah, you're my friend. Of course, I'm going to, tell you whatever I think. You could take it whatever you want. He's like, but I want to pay you now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, my friend wants to pay me to talk. All right, this sounds like a fun hobby. And then he gave me my second client and my third client. And then I got Ollie Charlie as my fourth client. And I realized it wasn't a hobby. And I ended up leaving that 6-figure job. And I undervalued, just like almost every entrepreneur, I undervalued myself. So I did not really have, I was spending a lot of money too. I was making money, but I was spending money because I wasn't happy at the job. And a lot of people know that. Like, you'll go out, you'll drink, you'll forget it, and then you go back to the corporate zombie.
Grind, yeah.
And yeah, it's a grind. And so I just had faith, and here we are today. I think that's big.
Well, congratulations. I want to say that first. Second, I want to give you just an idea. So
Let's hear it.
I'm a DJ. I own a lawn company. I've dispatched live flight for 14 and a half years.
Wow.
I run 3 podcasts.
What do you not do?
But here's my thing. There's also that part where my ultimate goal, because I also cover high school sports, any sport that I'm at, I cover, make, film, all that. My ultimate goal is to not do any of that, but just do podcasts and do the sports coverage. How do you talk to someone that is like that? Like, where do you start? Where does that start for you?
Don't give that out for free.
Dang it!
No, I'll give you a little.
Let's get a computer and make an invoice.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, where's my phone? I'm just kidding. No, but that's everyone's dream. At the end of the day, whether you as a business owner want to do the few things that you love in the business and have other people run it like a well-oiled machine, or you want to be a CEO, just off doing your own thing, opening other businesses, doing whatever, and have it run again like a well-oiled machine. And so that's why we're consulting and not marketing, although social media is like 90% of it, because a lot of businesses are just not showing up online the way they need to. They have their network and their network's network, and then they hit a wall because people don't know who they are. And so, what we do is we focus on, all right, what do we need? How much money do we need to get another employee? What are the spots? And even for me, I had to figure that out, because in the next 6 months, my goal is to actually fully launch national. And I'm thinking about like even getting an RV, crazy ideas, thinking about getting an RV and just, you know what? I'm young right now. I don't have kids. We're not married yet. I'm like, let's go, boyfriend. You be my CFO. Let's make enough money. So I bet he's happy about that. Yeah.
It's those type of ideas that people are afraid of. How do you talk to someone to let them know that reality can happen?
Well, people hire me, and sometimes they mistake me as just any other marketing company, like a yes man, like give me your branding, give me your logos, give me your headshots. I'll post for you, or you tell me what to post. I tell them if they keep doing the same thing and expect different results, that is the definition of insanity. Yeah. And you hired me to be an expert to shake things up. And I mean, I'm not a robot. I'm not buying bots. I'm trying to get you actual organic leads that will eventually grow into long-term relationships, not just like, if you're a candle shop, they're not just gonna go in and buy one candle. I want them to come back for the candle pouring classes. I want them to come back and bring their girlfriends and have a date night, get the car air fresheners. If they're a business, get their logos on candles and hand it out to clients. Like, there's so much more to nurturing it, and you just got to figure out how to structure it to what their goals are. So your goals, and if you want to sit down, I'd love to sit down with you.
We
find out what your goals are, and we'll find a way to create a roadmap to it.
The way that me and my wife have lived, because my lawn company's going on 10 years. So it is
congratulations.
I've DJ for 12.
When do you sleep?
About 3 to 4 hours. Obviously I'm looking to get more coming up. But one of my jobs cut back on me. They said you can only now work 30 hours. Just bought a new house. So reality has to hit.
Yeah.
I'm a hustler, so I'm never worried.
Yeah.
But it's now I'm going to turn it up one more notch. And my goal was already by the end of this year, and thanks to the Omaha Beef for providing some opportunity to show that I will make it with what I do now, as I already have. But I'm about to turn it up, and I hope people are ready, because I know I am, because I don't ever let someone hold that little thing above my head to go, you can't get it. You're not going to get it. I've worked too hard for that.
That motivates me. I'm like, I'm going to get it.
so this timing, and especially I want to give a shout out to Jeff, because we didn't have a guest today.
Yeah.
Jeff is the one that invited you. And I think you might have even called when we were doing the Sammy Strong and Go.
I did watch that.
You were like, do we have a podcast tonight? Yeah. And Ricky's like calling me. And I'm like, 2 microphones, camera, trying to run around and do stuff. And he goes, did we have a podcast tonight? And I'm like, no, boss, we're doing this.
We're doing that, yeah. So
things happen for a reason. They happen at a time. But that will most definitely, how can our fans and how can people find you and make sure to get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can go to humbleLionConsulting.com or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or So I do own a couple more businesses too. But one of them is Global Women's Forum. It's our 4th annual coming up next Saturday, the 21st at the Garden Theater here in Omaha. We started off with 75 our first year. Second year, we had 175. Last year, we blew our record out doing 325. So this year, expecting hundreds and hundreds more. And we're so excited, actually, because I don't know if y'all know who Taryn Smith is, Taryn Smith Movement. She is a Nebraska native. And actually is the first
She's the one that came across. I need her on my podcast because I do a lot of sports.
Well, come next weekend. Next weekend. So it's next Saturday.
But is it the same time as the beef? I got to host the beef game.
Oh, it is the game. You're right.
Okay, so you got to hook me up with that.
You know where all the girls are going to be then. You guys have to come after. I'm just kidding.
Because I want to let you know, like I've interviewed like Jordy Ball, like a bunch of the big names around here.
Yeah.
On my other podcast, Wired Access, that I do.
Okay.
And I take like Harper Murray, Rebecca Alec, like some of the big names. And that is that journey that girl did there across the ocean.
I can't wait to hear her story.
Oh,
so she did a single, like solo
43 days or 46 days.
43, 47 days. It was 3,000 miles.
Wow.
Across the Atlantic Ocean.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
By herself.
And it's a rowboat.
Just imagine being by yourself for 46 plus days, rowing at that.
Yeah. Is she going to talk about this?
She is. So she is our opening keynote in the morning. And then our closing keynote is Melissa Butler. She is the founder of Lip Bar, which is a cosmetics, obviously lip. You probably got that. Cosmetics brand. And she's in Target all over. A few years ago, she went on Shark Tank. They denied her. Now I believe her valuation's like 18 million. So they did something wrong there, y'all.
What I love is when people deny and they still find it. Well, we greatly appreciate you coming out, and this happened for a reason. Yeah. Make sure to check her out and check out all they do. And we're going to go to a break as we bring on next the voice of the beef. Here's week 1 highlight. Welcome back to Primetime Beef Huddle. I'm your host, DJ K DuB, but we have today the voice of the Omaha Beef. That's what I would call you, right?
Yeah, no, that works.
All right.
It is.
Todd Walkenhorst.
Hit the cheering button.
Okay, yeah, always.
There we go.
There we go. Hey.
It's that crowd noise we pump into.
I always wondered why this couch was in here, and now I know. It's
Now you
much
know.
better than what I pictured Virginia for. I will let you know.
Welcome to the Ace Rent to Own.
That's
yeah,
right.
No, that's good.
They got us lounging. This is the Primetime Beef Huddle lounge.
Yeah, it's a nice little setup here.
You got to be careful. I mean, you know,
You could sleep here. You could.
You absolutely
could
could
get
sleep
kicked out of
here.
here.
I'm not saying I've done it,
I
but-
mean,
this chair relaxes back if he
pulls
needs
out.
it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that,
I'm
could
sure.
come, that could come in handy when I leave.
Yes, it does.
So
Anyway,
you got some big news for Beef Nation, and I think we could start with that. What do you think?
Sure, we can do that. We are happy to announce that our great partners at Walnut Media, which is the Boomer Sports Network, we will be back on this season, starting this week. We took a year off. We had some, just some business things and some stuff going on their end, but we had been on there for 6 years before that, and we're happy to be back. So we'll have a place where you can listen to us on the radio when we're out of town. If for some reason you can't or don't want to get on the NAL network, I gotta be careful not to take people away from that there, but it's a free listen, no video. It's radio, which I'm kind of partial towards, to be honest with you, but you'll be able to start listening this week. It's on the Boomer Sports Network. Go to myboomerradio.com. We'll be on there Saturday night. Every game will be on there via the stream. If you're in the Omaha area, games will be not this week. We had a little, whatever scheduling deal, but after this week, all games will be on Bluffs Country, the Walnut Media partner
That's
over
exciting.
there. But great people over there, and you'll start hearing our beef morning minutes across the Boomer Sports Network Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings during the drive time as well. So they've been a great partner of ours in the past. We just, again, some things just didn't work out last year. We're back, and we're all very happy about it. And they're also the home of the Huskers now as well. They're the local radio affiliate for Nebraska.
Yes, they
sports.
did get
So,
the Huskers.
we're there with them, and we're happy to be doing that.
Nothing wrong with getting the Omaha Beef with the Huskers. Of course,
Makes
also
sense, right?
before you had the coaches show on there. Is that going back there? Do we need to worry
The
about
coaches show right now is we like where it's at. We'll take
Okay.
care of that later. There's some things going on behind the scenes, and so this is where we're at right now. We will be partnered with Walnut. I'll just leave it there. And we intend to grow that partnership as they're doing some things on their end as well. And, the one thing that's great about them, and if you're familiar with radio, they just celebrated 10 years. It's gone quick. I've known them since they started that, bought the station. They are dedicated to local radio. So if you know about radio, it's a lot of satellite radio now and networks. And a lot of times you're listening to the, whatever. You think the DJs are here. They're pre-recorded. They're from
Right.
New York, whatever. It's just not local radio. And it's the economics of it. That's where everybody's gone with it. But the people at Walnut Media, Pat Combs, Steve Saline, they have gone and made that a priority to have local radio, local content, local announcement. If you grew up here, they're DJs on Boomer. I mean, you got Dave Winger, you got Jack Swanda, you got Neil Nelka. I mean, this is literally the Nebraska Broadcasters Hall of Fame of DJs on that stage. I mean, right there, I just that's 120 years of DJ experience between those three guys right there. And for me, again, I don't get it all a lot. I mean, I've worked around some famous people. I worked in the NFL for several years. When we went and met Dave Winger the first time when we went in, actually when Marvin Jones was coaching, we went in there. That was kind of a special time for me. So very happy to be even on the same airways with all those guys.
You've been around the Omaha Beef for a while.
Yeah.
What has kind of been your progression of seeing how things have been going and where we are today? And when I say this, I mean just the growth of on social media, on YouTube, on AM radio, just the growth of how it all comes together where if you don't think you can hear it, find it, or see it, you're not looking.
The very first time, it's a true story, I've told to people who know me, that I found out about the Omaha Beef. I was living in Seattle. I was working for the Seattle Seahawks, and that would have been 2000, the first year that they played. And, I had kind of seen back home, they're starting this indoor football. It's a brand new thing. It's going to be really cool, whatever. Now, if you remember the Omaha Beef back then, I mean, that was a BFD. They're at the Civic Auditorium.
Civic Auditorium where I graduated.
This thing is packed, right? And I don't know. So we're after our last mini camp. I come back before training camp. I always come back for a week or two. And I remember I pick up my rental car down at Epley because I'm going to get a rental car for the weekend. Turn on the sports station, and they're doing the game live. And just listening to it on the radio, you could hear the cowbells. You could hear 10,000 people down there. I'm just like, this is crazy. And I had a cell phone, which was a new deal back then, but it was team issued. So I thought that was a cool thing. I remember calling people back in Seattle with the Seahawks. I'm like, you got to listen to this. I'm putting the phone up. This is football in an arena. It's like they're going nuts here. This thing's crazy, right? That's kind of, obviously the business has changed, right? There's a lot of reasons for that. I've worked in the business side too. I was commissioner of the league a couple times. I mean, I get all that, but the one thing as far as Omaha goes, Omaha can support this team. Omaha should support this team. Omaha has the appetite for this team. And I go back to the things that they did then. One, they were on the radio. I mean, I think to make this legitimate, and when I was commissioner, that's something we always talked about. Try to get these teams on the radio because that's marketing. It also legitimizes your product, right? So that was very important for us. We were off for a year, and I won't say that's not why we didn't win the championship, but you never know, right? But it's a big deal.
It's getting uncomfortable in this show.
Yeah, right. No, okay. It wasn't the lack of radios; it was the coach. But anyway,
see, you turned it up.
I try to take the heat off you.
Time to go to commercial.
But no, I mean, that is one of those things that make you a little bit more. So is getting that. I'd love to get the media actually back out there again. That's something we got to do. We used to, when I was around this back, around 2011, 2012, we had a beat writer with the World Herald because they treated it like the sport that it should be treated like. Yep. Been trying to do that. Obviously, there's issues with newspaper. That's changed too. So, they don't have the staffing either. But, it's all those things to make the product more legitimate, because sometimes people think they don't understand what it is. It is actually a professional sport with very qualified and talented athletes. We need to get that out there. We need to present it that way. And so, again, going into the radio thing, being back on radio is a big part of that for me. What we're doing here with the social media, I mean, this is awesome to get this kind of coverage. We all bring in a different crowd, which I like too, whether they're on terrestrial radio, whether they're on, the different social medias or whatever. It all brings people to the same place, and it tells a different story. And people are at that game for different reasons. Some are the diehard sports fan. Great. Some people want to watch, the cheerleaders. Great. Some people want to just, have 5 beers in 2 hours. Great. It's there for everybody. We got to find out the people, get them there. It's a great time. Get them in and get them back.
I like what you said. It's all about seasoning it differently, right? You talk about finding different ways to get to them. And of course, I think Ricky did a great job at the coaches show on Monday, where we brought up the fact of some people were questioning about commercials, questioning about the horns, questioning about the cow. Obviously, Sioux City cancels cowbells.
Well, I heard Omaha's going to cancel residents from Sioux City. Is that true or not? Or is that just a rumor?
But it's all those different elements to the game that makes it what even grabbed your attention 20 plus years ago. Yep. Where had that not been going on and you just hear guys just talking, it might not have been.
It's counterproductive. I mean, I get it. It seems, oh, cool, we showed them. Fine. You're just getting rid of pieces of it. That's something, again, I'm not in that role anymore, but, you try to remind people the big picture of it. It heats people up too. It gets the rivalries going. Instead of banning cowbells, find something that you can do, match that intensity. So that's unfortunate. I mean, I'm not gonna get a soapbox about it because it's arenas, and we've all dealt with arenas and all that stuff too. And it's a little lazy. I'll just be honest with you. I'm not trying to start a fight or anything, but this is a special product, and when we do things like that to it and we take away from it, or when we present it in a way that's not professional, or, some of these leagues, and I'll start a bunch of trouble tonight, they go out there and just, half-ass it, put it out there, don't put a good product out. That's something we always talked about, that destroys the business. That's not good for the business. The best thing for this business is to have more successful teams and leagues out there. I mean, and this guy could tell you, he's on a lot of calls with me over the years. I always talk about the IFL. I love what the IFL does. I never saw them, obviously they weren't a competitor, but I was always, I wanted to be as strong as IFL. I wanted to learn things that they were doing. And I thought strong IFL teams were good for the National Arena League and back in the CIF too. So, it's kind of that common denominator. Where do you want to play? And it's also a tough part of this business too, because there's obviously financial implications and a bunch of things that go along with that too. And a lot of stuff, unfortunately, is easier said than done as well.
Coach, of course, for you got someone that's been around the business all the way up to the NFL level and able to be the voice of the Omaha Beef on the radio, but also at the coaches show and just be a part of it. What has it been like for you these past couple of years, obviously seeing his role change and kind of go back and forth?
Well, the interesting part about my relationship with Todd is the roles that you mentioned have nothing to do with our relationship. I look at him for advice on a lot of things. I mean, he's seen the best and the worst of me in this business. And when he was commissioner of the NAL, he talked me off the ledge many, many times. And I think for him, like many that have kind of seen that journey, I think from a friendship perspective, he likes seeing me here because he gets to see me be what I think, I'm capable of being and watching me grow. And I lean on him for advice to continue to facilitate that growth. I think he speaks to many of the problems that our industry has. And that is, you have venues, for example, that rather than being a partner can almost be counterproductive and hinder the ability of an organization to thrive and succeed. Even from an advice standpoint. And look, I'm not going to pick on the Greensboro Coliseum, but I'm just going to use what I have as experience. If I was Greensboro Coliseum, I would have probably told Carolina, this is not the venue for you to have a team, right? Because it was destined for failure from the start, right? So I think it's things like that. I think you look at, why our industry gets a bad rap is because of what he just said. You have certain teams, they'll start, they'll fold. You have owners that are absentee owners versus an owner like the one I have that's in the trenches with you. It's a shame because it's a great sport. It's great entertainment. It comes at a time where the big fish, the NFL, is not playing, so it allows you to fill the void that you're missing when NFL seasons end. And if we could just, from a league perspective, look, you want to have something to emulate. You want to have something to look up to, right? So I'm not hurt by the fact that the IFL may or may not be more successful than us. It gives us an example to follow. And what I do like about the NAL, and this goes all the way back to when he was commissioner, is we continue to move in a forward progression. We're starting to figure things out, right? We're starting to vet teams a little bit more. He did a great job of that. Look, we only had a certain number of teams in the league when he was commissioner because we weren't just going to let anybody in the league, right? And now we've gotten better at vetting teams, especially from a financial solvency standpoint, to make sure that we finish with what we start. And I think that's a big turnoff for fans. They get excited about a team, and 2 years later, the team is gone, right? So our business has taken a bad rap because of situations like that. And I think it's nice to see across the IFL, the NAL, even AF1, although they play a different style of indoor football, that we're starting to get some stability. And I think that's going to continue to bring fans back in. And so from my perspective, that, as a coach, that gives me a career. This is what I'm passionate. This is what I'm doing. I don't have another job. Well, the only way I continue to have a job in this business is if the business sustains.
Man, I tell you, we see where the Beef were and where they are. Of course, you've seen, I think people don't realize, obviously, the fact of the past 5 championship games that they've played in, the fact that this hasn't happened in the 27 years that they've been around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a special time, for a special franchise.
Nothing's changing.
Yeah, I mean, we're in unprecedented success right now, and that's not an accident. I mean, that is hard work. So you asked me about what I've seen. I mean, I was here a little bit, 2010, 2011 era, and then 2012, and there's an ownership change, which I mean, people don't realize how close this team came to ending during that. And you can look at the record. I mean, I'm not going to go back and rehash and talk bad about it, but just look at the record and I mean, look at photos, how many people are at the games. It wasn't sustainable and wasn't enjoyable at that point. I mean, I think there's a 1-11 record in the middle of that, people love him or hate him. And I don't understand sometimes why they hate him. What Ricky's done here and came in, a lot of people don't know what he started with. It was not, I mean, it may have been the longest running indoor football team, but my gosh, there's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of things he had to work through, and now we're seeing that success, and especially in the last year or two on the business side. And you go, oh, I mean, you aren't obviously seeing the balance sheets or anything, but you look at the field, those banners aren't free. Those are positive thing. People are paying for that. That's good. But bigger than that is what you just had in here. You have support.
Yeah.
You have partners, that come in and obviously, yeah, we need the revenue, but more importantly, you need that buy-in, because they tell their friends, they tell their business associates, they tell their customers, whatever, and you build that community, and how that's built now in the last 3 or 4 years. And you talked about, I've been a broadcaster since college. That's actually my passion. I honestly, gave it up to go work in the NFL, and I never really got back on track, but broadcasting was my passion. So that was the first thing when Ricky came in here. I was like, I want the broadcast job. Turned out I had a lot of other skill sets that ended up, putting me a lot of other places, not just with the team, but with the league. But end of day, being able to call the games and watching that growth this is season number 8 now. And, not a lot of people can say it, and for whatever it's worth, but I'm actually very proud of it. I've called 5 straight championship games, so that's been very, very cool to do. And I think we've had pretty good broadcasts too. I know Beaumont fans would disagree, but whatever. They were not agreeable to a lot of things, but I think you go back even that one, and I just say that because, obviously I do live in Omaha, and I've done some things with the beef, but that was not a beef broadcast. If you go back and watch it, I mean, it's a very professional, and that's, again, with my role with the things I've done, I want to promote the sport. I want to promote the players. I want to promote the business. I want to promote all the teams out there. And I take that responsibility greatly. Now, if I'm on Boomer, and I'm broadcasting just to Omaha, that's a different thing, right? If we're on the NAL network, I've got that in the back of my head too. Hey, I got fans from the other team watching. And then I've also always got the, most people probably don't know the ins and outs of every little detail like I do. I got to educate them throughout too, right? I got to remind them, how this works. This game's a little different. Why this is important. It might be a situation during the game, why you should care, and all that. So, that's my goal, is to, if I don't know a whole lot about it when I turn it on, I start hearing that, and then I'm like, that's kind of interesting. Now I'm more interested. Now I got to keep listening, right? I got to see how this turns out now, right? And so that's really a challenge. And, and again, I encourage people, if you get a chance, I prefer the radio. I know internet is good, and I'm not by any means saying don't sign up for the NAL network, but I've heard there's a couple people that haven't. So if you happen to want to catch the live stream, myboomerradio.com, we do appreciate the listens on that. Again, we're happy because we're bringing the out of town games too. So that's a big deal to hear us on the road.
Well, we will get a couple players in here, get coach out of here, but what I love is you're going to hang out with me.
I am.
And what I also like,
got a couch,
because he
and
also
there's
said,
not a lot of stains on it, so that's good.
this guy. Once again, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. We got a big game coming up. Coming up first, though, we got to get to our promotional of our player coming in. All right, I had to turn that one on.
There is a technical term for that.
What is that?
An ouchie.
Oh, dude, that was the young chiropractic play of the game. Today we have with us Raymond Cuts. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate for having me.
Man, welcome to Omaha.
What's that feel like? I mean, just explain what that feels like when you hit somebody that solid. Not dirty, but a nice, solid, clean hit that they're going to remember.
I've been doing that since I was like 5.
It never gets old, does it?
Yeah, it don't get old. That's just something I'm used to. I just like hitting people. I could have went for the interception on that play, but
he made sure that was well known. He said, I could have intercepted, but he was well aware of where we were at that point of the game.
Well, and and defensive backs usually enjoy hitting rather than getting hit.
Yeah, I like it. That's why I stopped playing offense.
It's usually the case.
You come to Omaha. Welcome to Omaha. What was your first thought when you got into the Slaughterhouse and seen the environment? What did you know prior, and what did you feel after you arrived in there?
I ain't really know too much. I mean, I played a game with the Sharks, so I kind of had like a feeling how the fan base is gonna be a little bit. But I didn't think they was gonna be like this serious about it once I got here. Like the fans are diehard here. Like it's a player like me, I feed off like, the fans and stuff too. So I like it.
Well, wait till you get a real game, first off, and wait till you get Sioux City's a second home game, right?
Yeah.
Wait till that one comes. That's a special game if you haven't heard about it.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Now, of course, you've seen players come and players go. You see someone like Raymond out there being able to not just play linebacker, but DB, wherever the coach need. How important is a player like Raymond?
We actually talked about that. I don't know if you heard during the game, and not necessarily you specifically, but and it's obviously unique to this sport. I mean, we suit up 21, right? So when you get guys that can go and play different positions like that, obviously they're at an advantage, right? And it develops them. But the biggest thing is, when you got a game like that and you pick the play that, stuck out to me during the game, we'll be honest. I mean, was that game? I mean, it was a pretty decent team actually for a semi-pro. It gave us good looks and everything. But when we see them play that hard during all the plays, that's a big deal, and that's what we, I'm putting my coach and scouting hat on, which I've done, in the past as well. When we see that, that's where we go. And it may not be a big game to anybody else, but when we go back and watch the video, when we're grading and we see that, those are the things that stick out. That's how you get roster spots.
Especially that late in the game.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Like anybody could have just given up and said,
well, like he said, he could have taken the pick right there. But you understood, and even a little bigger right there. I know coach was talking about it, it's about a little bit of attitude on this team. And I know you got some veterans back there that probably preach that as well. I'm guessing Chris Perry's mentioned that a couple times too, a little attitude.
I got a mindset of like dog eat dog world. Like eat or get ate.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody finna mess me over. So.
And I think we talk about the beef fence, so is what we always refer to, and I mean, when that crowd is full and the cowbells are going and you're in a game and it's a big fourth down and then you start making those plays, I mean, the crowd feeds off that defense, always has for all the years here. That's what makes the Slaughterhouse a special place, a special environment to play. So I think you're going to get to experience that. Hope you enjoy it, and hopefully it makes the players better. I mean, that's what makes it fun. It's better than playing in an empty arena where nobody really cares.
Yeah, like I said, I feed off the fans, and I know the fans could be doing anything else on that
Absolutely.
Saturday. So my goal is to give them a show every time. Dump City Junior. That's what I call my.
He's ready.
That's what we need.
He's got the hashtags going already. He's
that's
ready.
What we need. You, of course, get your first action. What was kind of going through your mind? You've been here before as far as playing the game. But at that magnitude, what did that feel like just to get your first call to get in there and kind of get?
I mean, it felt good, especially like coming from the background I came from. It was a lot of shut doors and opportunity that was missed. So when my number and stuff was called, I was ready. I know what I'm playing for. I got a son back at home, playing for my mother, my grandfather who passed away. So when my name got called, it was like, okay, this what I was born for. I got to go out there and basically show them why it was a great decision to bring me in.
What I like is you talk about the back home. I think that sometimes fans forget that, and that's what I love about what we get to do here on Primetime. We get to bring the fans a little closer with the players. Understand what's your love and passion outside of the game? Who's Raymond Cuts outside of the game?
Outside of the game, man, I love dogs. I breed dogs back at home.
Really, what kind?
Micro bully.
Okay.
I love the fish.
You talked to Jeff?
No,
you did some bully breeding.
I ain't talked to Jeff. I love the fish. I love bass fishing. Really just being me, I guess, playing the game. Nothing too much for real.
You played at Troy.
Yeah.
What I think some people don't know about Troy that I know only because, of course, we had a former Omaha South kid and we also had a former Omaha North kid with Zoe is play for Troy, and just the growth of that college. I mean, you could speak upon it because Troy used to be a walking mat for Nebraska back in the like that was a warm-up game. I'm not saying it wouldn't be today, but they made a name for themselves these past couple years. What was that like down there?
So I had 2 great head coaches, John Summerall, and then my last head coach, which I know I love that man dearly. He gave me an opportunity when other coaches didn't. Coach Summerall gave me an opportunity other coaches didn't, and I just seen the hunger that they had as far as like what they wanted their players to be and how they wanted their team ran. So they really instilled in me like, okay, we know what you're capable of, but as you go out there and show it every week, as you go come to practice every day and put it on the line. So once I got acclimated with that, it was just easy for me. And like you said, it was a turnaround school. Like that school wasn't always known for, the big names and the championships and stuff. But with the last 2 coaches, they made it their priority to change the program around, to go get the right players, to win the games, to win the championship, stuff like that.
Todd, of course, up in the booth. What is it like seeing guys like Raymond come in and have some success where they're not a known name in the area? They're able to set their feet down and be 10 toes to the ground.
Well, I mean, that's what this whole thing's about. That there's guys that still want to play, want to get out there. And, and what I said, I've always said, whatever level I'm at, this game is not less important to this guy than it is to a guy in the NFL or a guy at D1 college or whatever. And Marvin Jones, who was our coach here a few years ago, he always used to, the thing I took from him, and he obviously had a great career in college and the pros. He's just like, you have to love this game. You can't just like this game. You can't just play football kind of like it. You got to love football. I mean, you got to be dedicated to play it. So, when I see a guy like this, what I also think about is I always think about the NFL in the scouting process for several years. It's not that hard anymore because of all the technology, all the video. Everybody knows everybody, right? We used to have area scouts that would go and find those diamonds in the rough. That doesn't exist anymore because everybody knows everything. But we get lower tier, and no offense to anybody, but once those guys are done, this is where we go when we find these guys that, there's still good athletes out there. And, sometimes it's a little harder to measure too. You need that combination of athleticism and heart, desire, the guys that want to play and lay it out there. And when, this is a culmination of it, when you see guys that make it here, that the coaches found the right players, hopefully brought them in, gave them the opportunity, and then you see them make the most of it. I mean, that to me is really cool. And, obviously I'm not in this thing for the money at this level. It's to see those stories and to see those opportunities and help guys chase those opportunities.
I love that part of it because it's bigger than the game. It's about someone who's has a home, not here, willing to leave it to go chase that one more time, one more again. When you come to the Omaha Beef and you came to Arena, what was that like for you? And what's the biggest change for you that you had to make this year for it?
It's really just getting used to the turf. I'm coming from like outdoors, so we got like the real turf and grass.
Nobody plays on this anymore.
Yeah, so when I was like, I felt the ground. And
what's that?
I was like, it's kind of hard. Like, why it's so hard? But once you out there hitting people, making tackles, it ain't as hard as you think it is.
Isn't it hard to believe that like AstroTurf was a good idea at some point? And not only that, I mean, they put it on asphalt. It's this thick. The NFL played on that, and hit guys on that. I mean, can you believe that more guys literally did not get killed playing on that stuff? I mean, it's amazing.
That stuff pretty hard.
There's no give.
How was the wall for you? What did you think of the wall?
I rather get hit on the wall than the floor. The wall ain't as bad because you got the padding on it.
Yeah.
But
no pad on the floor. Well, wait till the ice is up. And right now, you still have those kind of plywood. So there's still a little give. Once the ice is gone, they take that plywood out. It's right on concrete. So, just to get you looking forward to
get a little bit.
That's later in the season.
Got a big game coming up Saturday. What should we be looking for Raymond Cuts? What's coming in?
A lot of plays being made for the most part. A lot of plays. I'll be on social media, so I'll be looking at the back and forward from other teams and stuff. I don't downgrade nobody, but ain't nobody finna come in here and have no 5 touchdowns in no game. I'm not going for that. Nobody else going for that. Like I say, I'm new, so they got to see about me. They got to know who I am as a player. And every week is only going to get better.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, taking time out of your day before you go to practice. We know we'll be watching for number 8. I hope you will be too. Why? Because it's this Saturday. Make sure to check us out. 6:30 at the Slaughterhouse. We got one more guest. We might go a little bit long, but always remember, as always, greatly appreciate JK Personal Touch for all they do for Omaha Beef social media, creating some awesome videos along with everybody else. There's a lot of them out there. We can't do what we do without you. But welcome back to Primetime Beef Huddle. Last segment, we got Brentley Allen back.
Yes, sir.
In Omaha. Here, go ahead and fix that mic for me. There you go. Yep. There you go. Scooter. There we go.
There we go.
There you
Now
go.
you're comfy.
Make friends with it.
Yeah. Welcome back, man.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. You know, I missed Omaha.
Really?
Yeah, I missed the fans. I missed the atmosphere. So I'm excited to be back.
What did it mean to come back and be with your boys again? Of course, we got a veteran squad out there, but you and your boy coming with you, Mr. Ross,
Yeah.
get to come back and be with Coach. What did that mean for you guys? And
Well, you know, last year it didn't end like we wanted it to. Now we get another year, another crack at it. I know the guys are dedicated this year. We're locked in, and we ain't leaving Omaha this year without a ring. So
What's it like having that bad taste in your mouth? I mean,
It's terrible.
sometimes I think the year before, you know, and we try not to talk about, but you know, this team lost a preseason game coming off a championship. And I think the silver lining to that is you see the difference of being hungry at the end of the previous year compared to being complacent coming in after winning back-to-back championships.
yeah, I mean, you know, I was hurt during the championship game, so it was hard to watch, but you know, sometimes it's a good thing to have that taste in your mouth, you know, because it makes you work harder for what you want. So
what I like what you said right there too was just the fact of it's a different type of hunger that sometimes, you know, people who join that team, because he joined last year, not him and not Ross, but some of the people that started early in that year felt like they were a champion before they made the champion. And I could say that just out of the atmosphere that you and I are around with the players. We see the ones that are hungry for it and here for that, or the ones that go, oh, I'm a part of the Omaha Beef who are the champions, instead of now these guys are, no, we're bringing the championship. We're going to get it.
yes, yeah. So yeah, we were in Carolina last year, you know, and things didn't work out there, but you know, I came here with Coach Negron, and you know, hey, everything happens for a reason. So I think I'm in the right place. No, I'm in the right place for that championship run.
You know, it's the season's kind of set up interesting when this year. You guys may not even know, but there's 9 teams, 6 make the playoffs out of this. So, and then you only have 10 games. So, you know, each game is important, but you know, 6 of the 9 teams means every team almost that you play, except 3, I guess, are gonna be in the playoffs, which means every game almost has playoff implications because, you know, you look at, you know, I mean, obviously 2 teams are going to get a bye, 2 teams are going to get first round, 2 teams are going to, you know, and then you're always going to have that head to head too. So, you know, really almost every game has playoff implications. I know you guys don't think about it. You think, hey, this is who we're playing this week. We need to beat them. But, you know, it for the fans, it makes it a little more interesting because each game to me is exponentially more important in this type of format.
Yeah, so you know, our goal is to go 1-0 every week. You know, we're not looking ahead 2 weeks before. You know, we're looking for that next game.
I'm not trying to get you
Yeah,
looking.
no,
I just
no,
realized
no.
I
No,
kind
I'm
of
just saying.
had him off the target. I kind of, I'm not a good coaching moment there. on my
No,
end.
you're good. You're good. But yeah, Coach Negron preaches that, don't get ahead of yourself. We got this game coming up this week, and we're going to focus on that. So
That was more my marketing side. This is a big game, so if you
It
don't have
is.
tickets, you need to
Yeah,
come
you don't
in
have
because check it out.
For you, injury, of course. What's that status? What should Beef Nation know? How's that going? It's never easy, but you also have to respect the fact that you can't rush it. You got to do it at the pace that it's going to get you there.
yeah, so this week I was coming back and running routes and stuff, and Tuesday I felt great, but yesterday I felt a little pain, but I think I'm going to be back in 2 weeks. So I'm not trying to rush back into it because I want to be 100% when I come back. I don't want to be 75, 80. I want to be 100%. So
Good and bad, I suppose, when you look at it, is there's a lot of talented receivers on this roster too. So,
Yes.
I mean, not saying take your time or anything, but that's tell us what that's like. I mean, obviously, in my opinion, it makes everybody a little bit better because that's what you're playing around.
Yeah, so it's tough. I mean, because we do have ballers on the team, especially at wide receiver and on the defensive side too. But yeah, every day I'm out, other people are making plays, so it's kind of like, well, when I come back, I got to be ready, So it pushes me. So
Right.
but I can only do so much right now. So I'm steady getting better each day, getting stronger. For when I do come back, I think it's the Storm is when I'm supposed to be.
Southwest Kansas.
Yep.
So away
3
game.
weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
Third game.
You of course also look at the partners that the Omaha Beef has had that helps in this area. How important is that for you and the other players, especially in this instance? Because I know Brian Inselman out of Achieve personally. I've known him for 14, 15, probably even longer than that. And he's the one that actually got me to interview JoJo Doman. And he just told me how sometimes these people are more than just the physical therapists. They can sometimes be your therapist to let you know of how important it is to keep your mind right in this scenario.
Yeah. Big shout out to Achieve. They're doing their best to get me back. And they're not just, your PT guys, they're starting to be my friends. They enjoy seeing me. I enjoy going and seeing them. So, big shout out to them. They're doing their best to get me back. Brian he does some crazy stuff, but that stuff works. So, like tomorrow I'm with him. So, he has me sweating in there. He'd be putting me through some stuff, but the next day I feel great. So yeah, shout out to Achieve.
It's partners like those that I think sometimes can go unseen because it's not stuff that you see on the field. It's the out of the office type of partners that are helping you guys prepare. And you guys got to have stuff like that, or else this team doesn't get to the championship and get to have the players that they have. How's the locker room this year compared to last year for you guys?
Well, Coach and those guys over there in that office, like Ricky Burtz and Jeff and all of them, they've worked their butts off in the off season. We got a lot more sponsors. I know our guys are grateful and blessed that we have all these sponsors, and yeah,
It's those little things that some people take for granted, but it's great to hear players like yourself really digging deep. When you do get to come back, what's some of the things that Beef Nation should know? I think you did a great job last year of showing who you can be, and you showed that you're a part of exactly what was shown at this preseason game. You need me, I'm there. Whether it's special teams, whether it's as a wide receiver, you need me, I'm there. What is that like for coming in?
So, I'm the guy that you call my number, I'm gonna go make a play. I'm gonna do my best to ball out, whether that be on special teams, wide receiver, shoot, even quarterback if he needs me at quarterback. So yeah. So I mean, I'm excited. I hate that I can't play right now. It's killing me, but you know, I'm not going to rush back. But Beef Nation, just be ready for number 80.
Of course, the coaching staff and making sure that you know where you sit in all this. How have those conversations been able to go for you to make sure? I mean, I feel from the outside looking in, of course, people think I know, but I stay as far
I know
away.
you don't know.
No, because I stay as far back as I can. I love to get it from the players, out of them. What has that been like for you to have a coaching staff here that is willing to talk to you and make sure you're always on top of knowing who you are and where you're at instead of thinking, "Oh, I'm good, I'm good." How does that feel?
Well, it feels great because, you know, Kane and Coach Negron, they know what kind of player I am. So they know I can help the team out. And, you know, they just don't want me to have a setback. They don't want me to, you know, rush into it, then be out for what, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you know? So they're staying on top of me about being in PT, you know, doing everything that I can to get back.
Todd, you got anything for Brentley before we get out of here?
No, patience. That's you know, that's the key right now. I mean, it's a good plan. It's tough being injured. It's tough balancing that. You have to figure out the return, you know, on your how soon you come back and whatnot. So they've got that well managed, but you know, you just hear how much goes on behind the scenes, you know, to put these games on, to get players ready for those games, and the staff, the support here, you know, and you know, hopefully the fans get to appreciate a little bit of that and see what's going on, and realize how much work everybody, and especially these players, put into this. And you know, and then it's all about the game, ready for a
Yes,
game,
yes.
and a real one Saturday night. Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
Saturday night, what do you feel like you're able to help some of the newer guys understand about Saturday night? Because yes, we went through this last game, but as Todd just said, when you get in the real grits and gravy when it comes to the NAL and you're playing the official, there's a little more high intensity.
Yeah, so I know some of the fans that came to the preseason game got a little taste, but you know, once this week comes, this weekend, it's a whole different ball game. So what I'm going to try to do is, you know, because we got some rookies on the team, we got some guys that haven't been with the Beef, so I just try to tell them, you know, just play your ball, you know, just go out there and do what you do. Don't get lost in the crowd and the horns, the cowbells, none of that. Just focus on, and you know, Coach Kane says it a lot too. He do your job. If you do your 1/8, we're gonna win the game. Because like I said, we have one hell of a team this year.
Well, I greatly appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing your story, especially giving the fans a little bit of the inside of what it takes to be an athlete that still wants to go out there, but understands where his role is as it goes week by week and not forcing it. So thank you for joining the show. I greatly appreciate the voice of the Omaha Beef here, Todd.
Anytime. I mean, I don't even show up to half the coaches' shows, but I'll come here.
Well, I mean, you know, but I also want to give a shout out on here. You know, you don't have to, but you, of course, also look at the things that are going on besides what you have to do. And I appreciate that. Stopping me and telling me about the stuff with Martinez and how
Oh,
that hit you.
absolutely.
Like,
It's a group effort, and we got a lot of good people in Omaha. Omaha's very fortunate. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, the infrastructure and that's been put into place, and especially over the last 8 years, you know, it's culminating. You can see it on the field. You can see it, you know, in the business. You know, people get sick of Omaha, and I know Omaha, you know, ownership, staff, fans, whatever, love that, because you know it's a bunch of success. But you know, uh, the effort's in there. I mean, teams that get it without the effort, well, first off, it doesn't happen. You know, that'd be annoying. But you know, and we talked about, again, league wide. I would love to see 9 teams in this league all have that success, and you know, draw that many people to their games, and you know, and I'll steal life. This is the standard. You know, I want everybody to meet that standard. I'd love to see that. And when I was commissioner, you know, I always said the best thing that could happen, I want 9 teams 5-5 at the end of the year. That would have been great. You know, if they were all,
yeah,
you know, at that same place, you know, I mean, that would have been fantastic. That was really what my goal was to have every team, you know, competing equally, and having the same success. So, you know, it's a great model, and Omaha fans and staff and owners shouldn't be embarrassed by it because it's working, and hopefully, if anybody can emulate it, and again, behind the scenes, Ricky spends a lot of time with other owners, anybody that wants to know, and I'm sure Coach Negron as well. Coaches want to know how he does things too, and a lot of these coaches throughout this league and owners, I've been around a lot of them, and share that because on the field they want to win, but off the field they want success for everybody, and everything we can do to make that happen. You don't need to worry about that, but we can do. That's all part of this.
Well, once again, we greatly appreciate all those who tuned in, checked us out, commented. We greatly appreciate you. Always remember, we got the game coming up this Saturday. If you don't have your ticket, go get your ticket. 6:30 versus the new team, the Pueblo Punishers.
The Punishers.
Coming in 1-0 after beating the Spartans this last week. There's some receipts people are talking.
Never have lost. They've never lost a game.
Yeah, not in the NAL. They haven't lost.
Not yet.
But they're coming to Omaha. And also remember, your next time to also after Saturday, you can come out Monday to the coaches show. You going to be there?
No, I'm going to be in Cancun.
Oh, weird. Cancun, nice weather. Sweet.
Yeah.
No, but I'll be back on that one as well. We're down at Goose's Bar and Grill downtown.
I'll come to the one after.
7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Sorry, that's 6 p.m. This is 7.
You almost missed the whole show.
But Boomer Radio, if you're not available to come this Saturday,
MyBoomerRadio.com.
Check them out.
Download the app.
We'll see you next time. Until then, always remember, go Beef.
Welcome back to the Omaha Beef Coaches Show.
We're going to discuss with him everything going on here.
We want to set the standard. We want to give our fans the best thing possible that we can.
God took me from the Carolina Cobras to the New York Yankees in about 2 days. I just love Omaha.
We're going to be here every Monday night, 6 o'clock, Goose's Downtown Pavilion.
Let's get this started.